Hi Cancer and Cancer Rising, this is your November 2016 forecast. So until the 22nd of November, the Sun is going to be in your 5th house. And this promises a lot of good times and recreational activities this month. The 5th house is the house of pleasure. It's what we do for fun. It can be sports activities. It can be drinking in the bar. It can be playing games with people. And it's also the house of children. So sometimes these fun activities involve children as well. The 5th house also links to creativity, so very good for creative personal business ventures. So if there's something that you want to launch, the new moon from the 30th of October, which is in its waxing phase until the middle of November, is really the push that you need. So the new moon has the Sun, Moon, and Mercury trining Neptune from your 5th houses to your 9th houses. So this is you dreaming big, possibly thinking creatively and imaginatively around possible work and study projects, especially if it's a personal passion project that you want to launch. So instead of being involved with just small, constrained thinking, you're thinking large and big and planning and you're feeling very inspired. Mercury, of course, adds that communicative dimension, so you're really able to sell your ideas if you need to. And so use this as a very strong push for achieving big things in your life. So Mars has been in your 7th house of partnerships, and it will stay there until the 9th. And it's 9th of November, and it's been working very productively and hard in the sphere of partnerships, all significant one-on-one interactions. So Mars here kind of had some conflicts. You may have clashed horns with some individuals, but it's still been a very strong and productive, hard-working aspect for you in the sphere of partnerships. From the 9th of November, Mars is going to move into your 8th house, and this can show some energetic kind of focus on finances. Mars here driven to make more money. Because this is also the house of joint resources, you may find that either you or your partner could be having clashes or conflicts around how budgets are managed, or, perhaps one person is spending more than they should, a little bit extravagantly. So something to be aware of. With Mars in the 8th, and it's also not necessarily the best time to take out a loan. So rather wait until, those kinds of affairs are more in order and you're not thinking as rashly or impulsively, and you and your partner are on the same page. So Mercury will be joining the Sun in the 5th house from the 12th of November. So Mercury in the 5th, you're looking for mental stimulation, exciting kind of conversation, stimulus. So your mind is really active and alive, but it's not necessarily focused on boring humdrum affairs. You're kind of looking for a conversation for its own sake, perhaps playing games and communicating a lot with children. So really finding your creative voice. So the Sun and Mercury in the 5th house are really going to help you express yourself very creatively, and you're going to find that people are responding to you for who you are, which is a very pleasant feeling indeed. So Venus is also moving from your 6th house, where it's been very good for social interactions with colleagues and people that you work with, and for some of you possibly even an office romance. But from the 12th of November, Venus moves into your 7th house. So the 7th house is that house of significant one-on-one relationships, and Venus in the 7th is really the best possible placement for relationships of all kinds. So it could show the start of a new love relationship, a significant one-on-one relationship, but it could also show deepening ties with an existing partner. Venus in the 7th really helps you open your heart to somebody else, express your feelings, show affection. And for some people, it's a very good placement for engagements, so formalizing relationships. But even if this isn't the case, Venus in the 7th house is going to help you in terms of consulting, making a good impression on people. So for all one-on-one interactions, Venus in the 7th is really a powerful blessing indeed. So let's look at what else is happening in this month. So on the 7th of November, the Sun is sextiling Pluto from your 5th to your 7th houses. So this is a very powerful aspect. It sheds light on troubling issues, but really helps you clear the decks. So if there's good areas in your life that you need to kind of flush out toxins and, just clear up a little bit of debris, This aspect is very good for clearing the decks and sort of realigning your interests with somebody else, particularly because Pluto is in your 7th house of partnerships. So very good for a fresh, clean start and perspective on troubling zones. So on the 14th of November, we had the full moon in your 11th house. So with the sun in the 5th house and the moon in the 11th house in opposition, the 5th house is all about creative play, fun, recreation, and the 11th house is groups, friendships, and our hopes and dreams. So this kind of polarity can show how other people fit into the picture or the dynamics in your life. It may be that a friend comes to you and they need a little bit of support and they need to lean on you for a bit, and you can do your bit to help them out. Or you may feel like doing something philanthropic or humanitarian. So doing a big, grand, sweeping gesture would be quite appropriate with this full moon. So see if you can make a bit of a difference in somebody's life or in the world at large. So on the 19th of November, Venus is sextiling Neptune from the 7th to the 9th houses. So Venus and Neptune, very dreamy and romantic, also very good for love interactions, because it makes one more empathetic and sensitive to the needs of others. So this would be a very good day for kind of an outing, or just make some of your fantasies come true, particularly with a loved one. So very good for scenic outings and for just, again, deepening heart ties with somebody else. So on the 22nd and the 23rd of November, there are two very useful aspects for business. Mercury is going to be sextiling Jupiter and also conjuncting Saturn. So Mercury and Jupiter together work very well for seeing the big picture, for opening contracts and negotiations. It really helps you sell yourself and be persuasive. But Mercury conjuncting Saturn is very detail driven. It's clear, precise thinking. So it can help you put those ideas onto paper, draw up contracts, formalize agreements. So where you're thinking big on the one hand and putting together all the pieces of the puzzle, you're also able to draw down to the nitty-gritty and really have, like I said, very clear, focused, detail-driven mental acuity as well. So very good for business contracts. So on the 24th, Jupiter is squaring Pluto between the 4th and the 7th houses. So this particular placement is very strong in terms of aspiring for an avenue or a platform of personal power. So really a push for a foundation or for, getting things, rebuilding things from the ground up potentially. This is a very strong aspect in the American elections, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But where it touches you in your personal life, you're looking for some avenue where you can be in charge, have some power, so see where this can happen for you. So on the 25th, Venus is conjuncting Pluto in your 7th house, so this really deepens and intensifies feelings of love and affection. So this can deepen existing relationships, making love very potent and powerful. So this in the house of significant one-on-one relationships can take things to the next level, really, like I said, potent feeling, intensity. For some people, though, it can make them a little bit jealous and possessive around their partners. So if you're that way inclined, just watch out, because it could make you intensely jealous and have passions stirred in a more turbulent way as well. So on the 26th of November, Mercury is trining Uranus from your 6th to your 10th house. So this is a very electric, stimulating, exciting mental aspect. It really has you thinking outside of the box. And because these are happening in your work houses, it could be that a problem that's been bugging you or other people suddenly finds a solution, like you can see the way, so you're not going to be thinking in a staid way, you're going to be thinking very flexibly. Your thinking is going to be very flexible. So you'll really be able to figure something out and do some serious problem solving with this aspect. And so the month ends with the new moon in your 6th house. So this is a very different flavor to the sun and the moon in your 5th house, which is pleasure and fun. The 6th house is the house of work and health, so it can show having to, get back to the drawing board, organizing, detail-driven, affairs that have to do with work. So really buckling down and being more serious and focused. But you've had a nice break in the first 2/3 of the month. So here you're getting back to business, working hard, being organized and efficient in the office. The sixth house is also the house of health, so this can show you being more health orientated. It's a good time to start a diet or a fitness regime. But because there are problematic aspects between the sun and moon and Neptune, the sun and the moon are squaring Neptune, this isn't particularly good for finalizing business contracts. Something could look or seem better than it is. Someone could be misrepresenting themselves, but also your thinking isn't going to be too clear. So wait for the fog to shift and, for you to have a clearer sense of what's really going on. So in terms of work, in terms of health, very good for starting diet and exercise. But this particular new moon, like I said, not the time to finalize any business arrangements. Wait until, like I said, the fog clears and you can, see what's really going on. Anyway, if you've liked this forecast, please subscribe and follow. I really appreciate you listening.